Hi everyone, it's me, Darlene. Outside it is very bright and sunny. You know I hate that, and I can't tell what the lighting is like and how this is going to come out. I just put it on automatic and I'm gonna let the camera make the choices. I have an update. It is just incredible how things worked out. Yesterday, I mentioned in yesterday's video that yesterday the hospice social worker from the new hospice that we're with came, and I don't remember really now what I told you about that, but during that visit I expressed my concerns about what happens when we're in crisis mode over here. Now, yesterday didn't start out as a crisis, but oh yes, I did tell you that hospice social worker got to experience firsthand a tiny little piece of how my mother is. Now, I think I said in the video that it's the first time that happens. No, plenty of people have witnessed my mother go into a narcissistic rage, but not necessarily directed at me. This time, my mother was talking to me directly as though there was nobody there. But it was toned down, so I know that my mother was aware someone was there. But, you know, she was calling me out, being just very mean, and then would change and be like also like lovey-dovey, but yet in a weird controlling kind of way. So that social worker got to witness all this, and just by the few things that I told her, she took it seriously. She said, doesn't even matter why your mother is talking the way she is, meaning if it's narcissism or if it's old age, that kind of thing, end of life. The thing is, she said, you can't be with someone like that because caregivers get completely burned out. And she said the fact that you have a lifelong history with this means you can blow at any time. You know what I mean? Those aren't her exact words, but that's what she was saying. It can be dangerous. And I'm like, yes, that's what I'm trying to tell people. You don't know how hard it is to be honest with someone about worrying about, are you going to lose your mind and do something that you're going to regret? It's pretty hard to confide in someone in that way in the first place, but then to have like the other social worker dismiss that and just be like, just remember this is temporary and everything shall pass, just these things. It was like, I just spilled my guts to you and you're just dismissing it like I just have to change how I feel about things, and I'm telling you, I'm worried about that. So I'm so glad so far this social worker seems to understand totally and took it seriously to the point where she wanted a separation without even seeing an outright blow up. She wanted a separation because she knew it would be best for both of us. She knew it couldn't be immediate, that she can't be immediately placed, but she said, how about respite? Now, she was suggesting respite for 5 days just to get us separated so things don't escalate. She says, you've just been through a lot. You could use another rest. And then I was like, oh my goodness, you mean I could possibly have that? And now I'm thinking, I could get my apartment set up. So she's like, that's right. So she said, we're going to try to get this for you as soon as possible, as soon as there is a bed. And for me, it's nice because as much as I already know, I cannot be taking care of my mother like that. It was amazing to be able to go to bed and not worry about waking up to hell or, even the physical care is a lot, but I can do that if there's a good connection. But when you're trying to take care of somebody physically that's causing you to be in constant anguish, that makes it harder. So I told her, and it's hard for me to just say, put her in a home. But when we were initially moving here, she was going from nursing home to nursing home. But because she fell into my lap again, because I wanted her home to die in her home in Maine, because I thought that was going to be temporary, I fell back into it. It came back, and it's like I don't know how to escape again. So I can't feel guilty if she's placed, because that was the original plan. And placement, though, is not ideal, because there's still a lot of stress, because I was still stressed the whole time she was in a nursing home in Maine for 6.5 months, because there's still phone contact. But at this point in my life, I can't go no contact with my mother. That is the only way to have healing from a narcissistic relationship, is to go no contact. And many people do it. Wish I would have done it 20 years ago, but I didn't. So I'm in this boat, and but my only options are care for her outside of my apartment, or paying a small fortune and having care for her inside the apartment, which I would do, but I know that is still opening me up to being with her daily, and to having to be the go-between between her and a caregiver, especially if they're not a good match. So there's still a lot of stressful headaches for me at that point. Are they going to have enough staff? All that. But this respite gives me time to try to think about all that, and it gives me a taste again of what it's like to not have the responsibility of caring for my mother. So I'm sorry. The wind is like blowing little wisps of hair, and they're getting stuck to my eyelashes. So my mother's in respite at a hospital. I was getting confused there in what I was saying, and I was trying to correct myself. So I'm cutting that out, and now I don't know where I left off, because I haven't done the editing. But what I wanted to say is, last night I got a call from the social worker telling me that the first option she was looking into, no beds available. She said she would keep looking. So I was just happy about that, and I was thinking anytime this week would be great. I'm just like, I can't believe that I might be able to get this help. Then she called again and said there was a room in a hospital that is 45 minutes away, but that's okay. I can still visit if I want to. That's not like that far, but I'm going to be busy. And she said, they need to know right away if you want the bed. Now, I hadn't mentioned any of this to my mother, but I told her, the social worker, yes, we're taking that bed. And I will just explain to my mother in a way that my idea was, I'm just going to bring it to her like, they have a way that we can get into the apartment sooner. If you do this, we get into the apartment sooner. Is there a chance my mother won't come to the apartment? There is a tiny, tiny little chance, especially since she's not well. Now, that's the cool thing. I am not only not having to take care of my mother while I'm trying to also set up an apartment, I don't have to worry as much about the fact that she really sounds sick with this congestion that she has. And so she's in a hospital where hospice also comes in. So she's covered by so many people right now. I'm so happy that she is there. So I agreed, and I got off the phone, and the first thing I did was tell Derek and Skylar that this house might be hell in a minute, but I did it in such a good way. I just sat down and I told her, you know how you went to the hospice home for 5 days before we left, before we came here, so that I had time to, have the furniture picked up and the car shipped and all that? She's like, yes. And I said, we get to do that again now. So I'll have 5 days to get that apartment set up, and then you're going there. And then when you come out, you'll be going to the new apartment. The next thing you see will be the new apartment. She was so happy, and she goes, oh, when do I leave? I said, they're coming to get you tonight. She's like, tonight? She goes, what do I need to bring? I said, they said don't bring anything, nothing personal, because there's a good chance you won't have that stuff. Things can get lost. So she says, I won't bring anything. She goes, I said, do you want your blue nightie? And she goes, oh, I'm going to wet it. I don't want to lose my blue nightie. She goes, I wish we had a Johnny. And I said, you know what? We do have a Johnny from one time when you were taken out of the hospital when she got her hospice diagnosis. They brought her in a Johnny. And I said, did I actually put that in the bags that came with me? I says, I think I remember seeing that Johnny. And yes, I had it in her clothes. So she was so happy she had her Johnny on. She let me put some socks on her because she never wears shoes or slippers or anything. But she wanted some socks, and she just gladly waited. I couldn't believe it. I was like, yeah, and I could tell. And she's sick, so she knew she was going to get hospital help. I'm sorry. Let me stop for a minute. There's too much noise. He's leaving. I don't like loud vehicles. I don't see any reason why a vehicle has to be that loud. So she left, and I was like, happy dance, happy dance. They came to get her. She was in good spirits, and she was whisked away to a hospital. And I didn't call her last night because it was pretty late. It was almost 9 p.m. when they came to get her. So I thought, I'm going to let her get settled. And, you know, Derek and I were like, we couldn't believe it. We could not believe that we're going to have time now that he can help me because we can go to the apartment together. So we already have today planned. I will tell you the plans. And I just went to bed and kept waking up and looking at the bed like, is she still, you know, breathing? I always check to see if she's still breathing. I've been doing that for years because she's always been telling me she's dying. So I always check to see if she's dead yet. You know, and I would be like, oh, she's not here. Oh my goodness, I don't have to get up and worry about how is this day going to start out. So that was pretty cool. And Derek was just so happy that, you know, to just know that I was going to have some peace and that we were going to work together today. So Skylar is spending today with her mother for Thanksgiving because her mother is working on Thanksgiving, which is tomorrow at the time I'm recording this. So Derek dropped her off at 8 a.m. and he's picking her up at 8 p.m. So she's got the whole day that she's going to be out. And so Derek and I are going to the apartment, and he's under the impression that we can get, oh, hang on, FedEx. Just got a box. I'm hoping that's my cable equipment to get set up at the apartment. That would be super cool if that's already here. And when I opened the door to come out here, my big box of Lorelei Designs fabric came. So I'm not touching fabric here again. That's going to be at my apartment. So anyway, Skylar's gone for the day. Derek and I are going to the apartment. Derek thinks we can open every single box in there. I know I had told you guys that I would like to record some unboxings and stuff. That's because I thought that we were just going to set up, like, because I was going to be alone, that I was going to be setting up like my living area and a little bit of place to work, and that I would be going through boxes while living there. And so I could have recorded that. But I want to take advantage of this break from my mother and the help I can get with Derek. If we can open all those boxes, I want to get that done. And I don't necessarily feel like recording that. I just want to get there, get shit done. There'll be plenty of stuff to record. So that's what I'm letting you know, that we're going to do that today. And I do think that we can probably open all those boxes. I won't find homes for everything, but with Derek there, it's going to help me to make decisions. And so I'm just so happy about that. And well, see, when I say that, I almost feel like that's a little bit of a lie. I'm not happy about any of this. I want to make that clear. I'm unhappy. Now, because I struggle with that. And, you know, and I do talk to Derek, and I'm like, will I ever be able to feel good about this? I wish there was a magic trick I could perform to feel good. I don't mean just letting time pass and feeling better because time has passed, because that doesn't work for me, because I have a lot of things in my past that still make me miserable. They just don't leave my brain. So when I say I'm happy about that, I'm happy in the moment that I know there's at least some help and all that. But, you know, it's hard for me to actually be happy. It is. And maybe someday I'll be able to figure out how to fix this part of me. Or I can just do like I always say, there's no fixing needed. Don't have to always feel happy. I can be okay with being miserable and just being, you know, grateful for certain things as I go. Why is it so important for me to explain myself to you? Why? I think it's because when I say I'm happy or I look happy, people are like, yay, so glad that you're happy again. And that can all fall apart in 2 minutes. So, it's just, I try to explain that I'm an odd duck. I'm a very complicated creature, I just am. And that's okay. That's who I am. And I have to live with it all the time. So I feel like I have to explain it. And I know there are others out there like this, so maybe they understand. And if you're not the understanding type because you can't even comprehend what I'm talking about, that's okay too. That's okay. So today we're going to the apartment to open boxes and put shit away. And then Derek said, you know what I'd like to do tomorrow for Thanksgiving? Because I'm not going to be with my mother for Thanksgiving. And that's okay too, because you know what? It probably guarantees that it'll be a Thanksgiving without horrible memories. Holidays with narcissists, it's scary. It can always be nightmares. I have nightmare stories about holidays that are almost funny. I mean, just like one Thanksgiving, I went and sat in the car and missed the complete dinner that I cooked because my mother was so awful that I just went and spent 3 hours freezing in the car, laying down, crying, and came back into the house with the whole family there acting like it didn't even matter that I wasn't at the table with everybody. It was so common that things fell apart. So, so Thursday should be good unless she can get to me by phone, but I'm not going to let that happen. And Derek, when he said that, he's like, you know what I'd like to do tomorrow? I was like, oh my God, I don't want to go to a restaurant. I've only been to a restaurant once since I started eating carnivore, and that was with Derek and Skylar a couple of years ago. And it was just, I should talk about that experience. It's just hard for me. It's hard for me to go to a restaurant, especially because I associate restaurants with drinking. There's no way I would step foot into a restaurant and not have drinks. And then with the ordering just meat and not wanting the sides, and I want my steak to be medium rare to rare, and what if they overcook it? I cried on the way to the restaurant, and it was like so stressful. So I just don't need that stress. But he said, I would like for us to take the day off and go for rides and just take you to show you different things. I was like, oh, I was so afraid you were going to suggest restaurants. He goes, no, we're not doing that, because he knows how I was. And so I said yes to that. Does that mean I'm taking the whole day off? Absolutely not. I have a lot to do, but we're going to take some time off. And, I've seen Skylar's school, and it's just, she walks home. It's very, very close. But he wants to refresh my memory in case I am needed to pick her up ever. And so to show me which way I have to go to do that. And then he wants to show me the parks that he's been recording at. And he just wants to ride around. If I could, the neighbors are starting to know that I'm out here talking. I might look up some thrift stores or fabric stores just so he can show me where they are. I'm not going to put him through shopping, but maybe we can, look at a few things like that. I would like to see where the nearest animal shelter is, because I was looking today. See, my mother's not here. I was able to look up because I really want to do volunteer work with Skylar, and she likes animals. So I thought, maybe we can do something that we can start something together to either create blankets by sewing them or knitting them or whatever, and to donate, and that will give her content for her channel. So I'm not going to say I'm happy, but today is a better day. So that's what we're going to do tomorrow. Derek and I and Skylar will be out and about, spending Thanksgiving in a way that I can't even imagine is more safe for me. That's the safest thing I could be doing, is to be with them two and not my mother on Thanksgiving. So I'll be thankful for that. That sounds mean, but no, I have to look out for myself a little bit. And I'm also thankful that my mother is in a hospital, because she is not well with that congestion. So that's all good. And I talked to her today. Did I say that yet? She does sound very congested in the head. they're thinking it's a sinus infection. I agree it could be. So she's supposed to be put on some antibiotics for that. And I'm hoping that she can recover enough that, you know, I will have to take her home if we can't place her. I'm hoping that she's more recovered by the time I have to take her back to this new apartment. And then I will be instantly looking for private pay help to get us through until she can be placed. Or if private pay works, then we'll rethink the whole thing. And so that's it. What an update. That sounds like I talked a lot. I think I did. I will end this video because it's quite long, and I'm going to work on editing it, but it might not come out until tonight by the time you get to see it, because Derek at any moment could say, let's go. I'm done working and let's go. If I do get to upload it early and I have another update tonight, I might spit out another video. You just never know. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe. Please subscribe to Derek, and I'll be back with more soon. Bye. Just remember.